Kotor is an incredible fortified town in Montenegro. Located on the Adriatic coast, it offers breathtaking views on the bay and the old city. So in today's piece we'll see the Cathedral of Centriffen, cat museum, probably the happiest stray cats on the planet which are protected by law, mouth-watering food, seafood from heaven as I personally refer to it. We'll climb the mountain where we'll see the church with incredible spiritual power on the steep slope, and we'll start our journey with a boat tour which will show you the setting where the beautiful town is located. In this boat tour you'll see the tunnels where James Bond was filmed, Mamula, the humongous prison which is now being converted into a hotel complex, and probably the most beautiful and peaceful place on the planet, Our Lady of the Rocks Island. So we're going to explore places to eat and drink, spiritual and historical places too, and not to forget, places to chill as well. Look at that cat. Love them. Thing is about cats is I absolutely adore how chilled can they be and how zen and in the moment they can be. I wish I could be like that at times, I think. How cool is that? The cats are simply everywhere. They could be spotted in so many places, just chilling. And they don't seem to mind people at all. Before we go into the depth of this beautiful town, I will show you the Corto Bay and what it looks like with its incredible mountains and tiny towns dotted around the coastline. I thoroughly recommend you taking the boat tour as it will show you the area so much better than anything else. It is after the tour that we've decided to visit Perast, which will have a separate video dedicated to it. Welcome to Perast. The boat tour started in Kotor, and the first thing we saw was the old town from the bay. These are the tunnels which go all the way under the mountains. The huge constructions were used for military purposes, but lately this tunnel was used for the James Bond film. This is the beautiful and the most notable town of Perast. Right next to it there are two islands. Both have churches on them. One island belongs to the Christian Orthodox Church and it's closed for public access. Another island has a story to it. Once it was a place where fishermen from Perast went for fishing, and now this place is famous for the beautiful church, Our Lady of the Rocks. The legend has it that the miracle happened there and it inspired the local people to build the island up, to make it larger so it could support this church. Now it's one of the top places to see and experience locally. We were told that half an hour should be enough to enjoy this island, but we came back and spent so much longer here. The time stopped for us as we explored and contemplated the scenery. This time-lapse was filmed as we observed the clouds rolling over the glorious mountains. To be honest, it was the only cloudy day during our stay in Montenegro, and we were blessed to capture it on this island. The next destination is the complex of Mamula. It is not a prison anymore, and a lot of work has been done on it to convert the island into a desirable hotel complex. And finally this, the beautiful grotto where blue and emerald water is so clean and clear, it simply feels unreal. It feels like it was photoshopped, to be honest. We had a short swim in the waters of the sea and even discovered a tiny grotto of our own too. Our trip back was just as picturesque. Seeing the same mountains from the different side was like a different tour altogether. Before exploring the old town, we stopped by on the local market to get some fruits and vegetables. We were really touched by the welcoming hospitality of the locals. Everyone spoke English and some people spoke Russian, so communication was no problem at all for us. Local restaurants are amazing when it comes to seafood. Fish and calamari were go-to dishes, and no two places were the same. Always tasty and always slightly different depending on the restaurant. We were so happy with the seafood that we pretty much stick to it. Just a small observation, almost with all dishes you get potatoes cooked with spinach, a rather different combination to what I got used to, but it was so tasty. So if you like your potatoes, you will enjoy it. We also have decided to go for a very special ice cream. It's done in a traditional way where the ingredients are chopped and crushed on a special hob that produces cold rather than heat. And as the ingredients are crushed, the ice cream gets to be separated from the hob and the end result is fantastic. This rolled ice cream looked like roses and it tasted so fresh, well, because it was made in front of our very eyes. This is the old town. The pedestrian streets are like corridors and they did remind me of Italy, Amalfi to be specific. There were many churches and small squares. When we got there, it was quite challenging for us to get used to the medieval street structure, so we pretty much had to learn the place by heart, which wasn't very difficult, as each walk was so picturesque and there were so many details and points of reference. This is Centriffen's Cathedral. Centriffen is a patron saint of Kotor. The magnificent cathedral was constructed in 1166. It looks incredible, and when you're inside, the sacred space feels very welcoming. This is one of my favorite spots in Kotor. You can really appreciate the grandeur of the Romanesque architecture and the view on the busy square. Not too far from it, there are two more very special holy places: the Church of St. Nicholas and one very small and very special Church of St. Luke's. The mix of Byzantine and Gothic architecture stands tall since 1195, when it was built. What is quite unique is that from 1657 up until 1812, this church was both Catholic and Orthodox. It had two altars which stood side by side. Every church and chapel we have been to has a very special atmosphere, the kind of feeling that makes you feel like it's a homecoming in a way, like a warm embrace.
There are so many chapels, churches, and places where you certainly feel very different. I mean, it's so hard to put in words how you feel in these places, but you really feel like there is definitely something out there, something greater than whatever you were thinking about.
Kotor was under the rule of Venice, that's why the older part was built by Italian architects. See so many details that if you would really take them all in, you could spend a very long time there. Which in fact we did. We didn't go to many other places to visit and explore. Instead, we chose to stay in Kotor for most of the time, just to ingest this magnificent beauty and historical detail which were pretty much everywhere. Walking through the maze-like ancient streets, we went to see the view of the bay from the city walls. Needless to say, we were very, very impressed. Before our most challenging destination, we've decided to explore the local market, and we saw this. There are traditional wooden statues of St. Nicholas. They're incredibly intricate and take a long time to make. There are many symbols that are hidden in those ornate figures, and so much creative flair too. Our next journey was the most challenging one. We have decided to go and visit the old fortress located on the top of the mountain. 1,350 steps and scorching heat didn't stop us. The ascent was relatively simple until we had the first break. Then, of course, it was a big challenge. Overall, it took us over an hour to complete the ascent.
Guys, just bear in mind that it costs €8 to go all the way up to the ancient fortress, but it's worth it. It's free to go up to this very point, because look at the views, they're absolutely stunning.
The mountain of St. John was fortified since time immemorial. The fortress was there for so long that it was reconstructed, not built, in the 16th century by Byzantine Emperor Justinian I. That to me means that the location of the fortress is perfect. For all these centuries, it proved to be relevant. The steps leading up were so well carved, it was a pleasure to ascend. I can only imagine how much effort it took bringing supplies to the fortress, if getting up there as a tourist was an achievement in itself.
It's so hot now that my phone said temperature alert, it can't run anymore, it can't function anymore, which is the first time I've ever encountered that, and that's after being in Italy and in France, obviously during our peak season of the sun, if you will. But it's incredible, it's so beautiful, and I'm specifically not using the radio mic because I want you to experience the sound of crickets and the sound of Montenegrin summer. know how I usually say, oh, it's great, it's amazing, it's incredible, and it really is, especially in the historical Stary Gorod of Kotor. But when it comes to swimming, if you like your golden beaches, there aren't any. It's all made of pebble and it's all made of stone, but to be honest, I personally love it, and it's great for me, but it's not great for those who really love the beaches and chilling in the sun, I guess. Obviously Montenegro's got quite a lot of beautiful beaches, but this is not it, unless you just love to sit and chill like we do. Personally, and I keep saying this, personally I don't particularly like sandy beaches, but that's just me.
I really hope you enjoyed this piece. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel to see more incredible videos about more incredible places all around the world. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye bye.